The Racing Postcast, in association with Paddy Power, they prize support UK and Irish racing the night before.
Hi there, welcome along. It's the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. If you've never tuned in before, you're very welcome. What we do is we preview the weekend races, hopefully bring you plenty of winners, and then we'll come back on Monday for a weekend review postcast where we keep conveniently quiet about the fact that all we did was tip losers. No, let's not be pessimistic. I'm Bruce Millington and I'm joined by three very wise owls who I'm sure are absolutely busting with winning betting wisdom. In the studio, Graham Rodway and Paul Kelly, my Racing Post colleagues, and over in Ireland we've got Brendan Duke from Paddy Power. It's a weekend which is all about the flat. I don't think the running order contains any reference to jump racing at all, but that's all right because it's all high quality fare, and the flagship event of Saturday is the Al Shakab Lockinge Stakes, which takes place at Newbury at 3:55. And Brendan Duke, it's a wide open affair, is it not?
It certainly is, Bruce. We are currently 4-1 joint favs the County Bear and 2 or more, 6-1 Lamato, 7-1 Bellardo, 8-1 Dutch Connection and Massub, and 12-1 Bar.
Graham Rodway, lead us into bat with your idea of the winner of this race.
Well, Tom always, to my eye, falls a little bit short of Group 1 class. He's a very good horse just below that level, but I don't fancy him to win this. The other one, Cody Bear, I think he has got the ability to win in the top grade. And I was very impressed with him towards the end of last season, but obviously he's coming here on his reappearance. He was a bit disappointing when we last saw him, and I think he's short enough. I mean, the horse that I really fancied to win it was Dutch Connection, but the ground could not have gone more against him. I mean, he really likes fast ground, and I don't think he's got any chance of staying the trip on testing going. So
is it definitely testing?
I think it will be.
Lovely sunny day today, isn't it?
It is, but it'll be tacky, won't it?
Okay.
I would expect it'll be fairly testing.
How many more horses do you have to mention before we get to the one that you fancy?
Johnny Barnes is probably a huge price, but he's a bit of an eye-catcher last time. Travelled really nicely in a race won by Home of the Brave at Leicester. Didn't appear to finish off his race very well. Now, I can only put that down to the fact that it was first time out, he may have needed the run. He's obviously got to make a huge step up, but he likes this ground. I can see him running really well, and obviously Frankie is absolutely flying.
What price is he, Johnny Barnes? Sorry, we haven't got Johnny, but I'm not asking Johnny Barnes what price the horse is. I'm asking Brendan Duke. What price is Johnny Barnes?
25-1.
Blimey, you're going to get stuck in there, G.
Yeah, that'd do, wouldn't it? Each way.
Excellent, yeah, lovely. Okay, Kills, I think you've got some fairly strong views here, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I had some strong views and then I changed them and then I changed them back again. It's, the British weather's a right pain, isn't it? I mean, I sat up Monday night, I was writing the Weekender column, I was tipping Bellardo at 20-1. I got up Tuesday, had another look at the weather forecast, and they suggested it wasn't going to be anywhere near so bad, so I changed my mind and put up GM Hopkins. Newbury then got 45 mil of rain, soft, heavy with places, heavy in places. So, to me, I think Bellardo should be favourite if the ground is still soft. He got a right brain dead ride last time at Sandown in the Bet 365 mile. He ran really, really fast from when they turned it at the home straight. But he was so far off him. He was about a dozen lengths off the horse that won when they turned in, and it looked like they went fast because they were sort of strung out. But the pacemaker was only rated 80, and the horses that finished first, second, and third raced in second, third, and fourth all the way round. And I think it was just one of those pace races, and Bellardo absolutely flew. He was only 2 lengths down at the line. What Graham said about Tormore not being a Group 1 horse in here, let's be frank, there isn't a Group 1 horse in this. It might be a Group 1 race.
It's not really. It's a Group 1.5, isn't it?
I think Lamato's a Group 1 horse.
Well, he's not. There were 2 Group 1 winners in a race, and they both won weekly contested 2-year-old Group 1s. That's it. The average rating in the last 5 years, discounting Frankel, was 124 for the winner. The highest rated horse in this race is 119. It is a bad Lockinge, whatever way you dress it up. Doesn't mean it's not going to be a fantastic race because it is very, very competitive.
But you're going to go Bellardo. Are you going to keep some faith in GM?
I'm going to keep some faith with GM Hopkins, yes. He needs it to dry out. He doesn't want it to be soft or dead. But I was really impressed with him at Ascot last time because it was the first time he's come and won a race really easily off what looked like a reasonably steady pace. All his best form is in these straight course races at Ascot off a strong pace, and he comes flying through really late. But this time they didn't look to go that fast, and he one more just waited, and then pounced, and he showed a turn of foot. He's rated 114. That's only £5 off the top. He's a 16-to-1 shot. I think he's got a big chance if the ground dries out. I would definitely suggest you back him at 33-to-1 for the Queen Anne at Royal Ascot, because the straight mile there is his course. And it's going to be just as bad a race, apart from the yank that's coming over Teppin. But we've got no idea what she's going to be like on a straight mile, because you'd never have run one before. And it was only a couple of years ago an American came over and didn't handle it at all.
Righty-ho. Brendan Duke, what's your verdict on the Lockinge?
Well, similar to the lads, it looks like a de facto Group 2 race. I don't have a particularly strong opinion. I will probably end up backing Endless Drama, slave to the aesthetic that I am, because the Newbury faithful are in for a treat with this horse. Magnificent looking beast. Ground not ideal, but it's soft, good to soft in places today. If it dries out a bit today and then continues to dry tomorrow, could be good to soft. He might get away with it. He's 12-to-1. I'd probably chance him.
I've already heard secondhand that David Jennings is barking the Endless Drama song again. Okay, so basically the lads think that the Johnny G long shots, Jem Hopkins and Johnny Barnes, are definitely worth backing at a decent price, and Paul also likes Bellardo. Right, that's the Lockinge done and dusted. 2:45, it's what we used to know as the Aston Parks, now the Rayyan Stakes. Only 5 runners. Penalty kick for Eagle Top, G-Rod?
There's a couple of worries. He was very disappointing on his reappearance last season at Sandown. That's a bit of a concern for me. And he doesn't win very often, does he? I mean, he's got some really high-class form, but he found a way to get beaten the King George last year. I know that Postpone beat him, but I mean, he had that race won, all ends up, traded at a short price in running.
Who are you going to back them?
I expect Eagle Top will still win, but I can't back him at the price. Karnacki, I was impressed with Karnacki at Goodwood. I know she's got a huge amount to find on figures, but I think she's going forward and she gets a lot of weight from the others. If I had to have a bet, I'd play her, but it's a watching race.
Have we priced this up yet, Brendan?
Certainly have. 4-to-5 Eagle Top, 4-to-1 Karnacki, 11-to-2 Arad, 8-to-1 Astroneris, and 10-to-1 Starstorm.
Yeah, what's your bets with Arad and A-Rod floating around? Okay, Kills, what's your view here?
Well, I thought it'd be a lot shorter than 4-to-5, to be honest. I mean, I'm not one for playing at short odds, but I mean, he has got an absolute ton in hand. He's officially got £8 in hand over Arad. It's £11 on Racing Post ratings. The rest, he's got even more, 13 and £19 ahead of Karnacki. Yes, she was pretty impressive, but she's been given a mark of 101 for that. He's 120, so she's got to make an incredibly big jump. And we know that John Goslin's in terrific form, so there shouldn't be any excuse for Eagle Top. I know that he doesn't win that often, like Graham said, but I mean, he doesn't run against this sort of company that often either. You
going to take on the Fav, Brendan?
I think so. The race isn't loaded with pace, which would normally be manna from heaven for Frankie. But the last time they tried this at a short price in Newbury, he blew out. So I'm not sure he's going to make the running. The Karnacki's tactically versatile, and that Batil was well fancied at Goodwood. An improving mare in a race full of holes. I'm not sure what she's going to have to run to win this. I'd chance her.
Karnacki?
Yeah.
Would you go each way? Do you ever do that each way in a quarter of the 2 in a field of 5?
Not really. It's because Eagle Top's going to be in the 2, so it only gives you one place to play for anyway.
Oh, I wouldn't be sure. I mean,
you don't think so?
He completely blew out the last time he was in Newbury with another penalty kick, didn't he?
Surely he's going to finish in the first 2. Surely 4 horses can't beat him.
Well, you say that. Only 2 have to beat him to get him out of the 2.
Sorry, yeah, 2.
Okie doke, right, the Toronado Carnarvon Stakes at 3:20 is another Channel 4 item on their menu, and this looks a bit more wide open. Are you betting on this at this juncture, Brendan?
We are. Quite tight, the Fav, actually. Dream Dubai, 2-to-1, 4-to-1 Remarkable, 6-to-1 Tanine, 7-to-1 Loghead Island, 9-to-1 The King of Rooks, 10-to-1 Damam, and 12's Bar.
Who are you backing, G-Rod?
Big problem for me. Massive fan of Dream Dubai. Very impressed with the win first time out. Ran an absolute stormer second time out Ascot. But the price is far too short, I think, for a horse that's only run twice. And those 2 runs have come quite quickly together as well. And there's another horse in there that I like, who's Tanine. Always been very highly regarded by Roger Varian. Who was a promising first time up at Salisbury last year and then built on it next time, won nicely. I expect Tanine will run really well, but the ground again is a big unknown for Tanine. If it is going to be tacky, well, the best form seems to be on Quicker so far, but only run twice. I'd probably take a chance. You'll go on it.
Tanine for you, Graham. Who for you, Kills?
Yeah, I'll probably go that way again. I mean, it's funny. It's another one of these races where the favourite is rated 106. The second favourite won a handicap of 76 last time. Needs to make a massive jump. That's remarkable. It's a brother to Infallible and Watchable.
It was quite a remarkable performance, though, wasn't it?
It was quite a
few
remarkable
adjectives
performance.
floating around
I mean,
here.
it was.
What's the name of the horse?
He was running all over the place at Doncaster, and then he finally sort of got going, and you can't believe how quickly he finished, and he won very, very easily. If he'd have played ball early on, he'd have won by a lot further than he did. So he's probably worth a lot more than 87 anyway. But with Graham, I was really impressed with Tanine last year when in that second maiden at Newmarket. Second, third, and fourth have all won races since, rated around the 80s. So he's probably no more than fairly handicapped. I know he's not running in a handicap, but his mark of 90 on what he's done is probably no more than fair. But there's loads more to come from him. Just depends on how much the ground dries out and whether he handles it.
2 for Tanine. 3 for Tanine, Brendan?
Oh, too tough for me, I'm afraid, Bruce.
Yeah.
I'd be concerned about Tanine's pedigree on the ground.
Oh, would you? Okay, fine. Right, well, let's look at the 4:30. This is a race that Paul Keeley has identified as a breeding ground for champions. It's the Al Zabara London Gold Cup. And Kills, if you were the first one to flag this up, but you look at the recent Roll of Honour, there's some real tools come out of this, isn't there?
Yeah, it's unbelievable for a handicap. And just a few years ago, this race was like about 18 grand to the winner. It's had a massive cash increase over the last couple of years. But you've had winners of the Dubai World Cup, the Melbourne Cup, the Hong Kong Vars have all come out of this race. You've had, I think, 6 of the last 7 years, a winner has gone on to win at Royal Ascot that year.
Time test last year?
Yeah, time test last year. Yeah, the only year it didn't was the year that Al Kazim won the race, and he went on to win the Eclipse and the Prince of Wales a couple of years later. So, there are going to be horses that are very, very well handicapped in this race. And, I thought Stargazer was going to run in here and be a short price fab, but I'd imagine that because the ground became so soft, they didn't enter it. And the one that interests me is Imperial Aviator. It was 11-1 with Paddy Power this morning, but somebody nicked a little bit of that. I don't know who that was. And it's down to 10s. And he won a maiden last time at Leicester, won it pretty easily. And the two horses that were second and third were the right ones in the market. The third was UAE Prince, who was at the time the big talk.
Oh, yeah, of course. This is
when we were at Sandown,
that's right,
the big talking horse for the Derby. It was only
about that for the
16-1
Derby,
yeah.
Most worthless anti-place voucher in the world.
Yeah,
that.
exactly right. The second was Ulysses, who hopefully by the time you're listening to this will have hacked up at Newbury today, and is really, really well thought of as well. And Imperial Aviator won pretty comfortably in the end, and the second got a fairly easy time of it up front. And I think a double-figure price for him is big.
Okay, G-Rod, you got a view on the race?
It's typically competitive. Soldier in Action would probably be the one I'd back. It was a little bit unlucky last time out to run into Red Verdon, who absolutely blew him away inside the final furlong, but he was well clear of the remainder. He's got a decent draw on the inside in stall 1. I expect him to be well placed throughout. I think he'll run well.
Okay, Brennan Duke, a show of betting from your employers and your words of wisdom on the London Gold Cup, please.
9-2 Good Run, 5-1 Vive pour Vive, 7-1 Carthago, 9-1 Spader, 10-1 Danehill Kodiak, Imperial Aviator and Prince of Arran, and 12's Bar.
And what do you think will happen?
I like the Imperial Aviator for the same reason that Paul likes him. Interestingly, we've been laying him for this race, and Ulysses at 55-1 for the Derby. So there's obviously someone stemming away. But I'm not sure I can ever bet on this race because of, as Paul mentioned, a future Dubai World Cup winner once ran in it and didn't win, with me having my conkers on him.
Yeah, I did as well. I had an absolute, but it was beaten by the future Melbourne Cup winner, wasn't it? So
if it wasn't for bad luck, we'd have no luck, Paul.
And they were running off 82 and 85, I think it was something like that. They were running off.
I mean, that's a wound that's still raw by the sounds of it, Brendan.
Yes, I probably do need to get over it, but I just can't.
I'm sure you've had plenty of winners since, haven't you?
I'm sure I have, yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully there's plenty of winners to come from our expert look at the Newmarket card, which is coming up next.
Here's Paddy Power's latest horse racing offer. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the SP5 at one meeting every day this month. Paddy Power, you're welcome. Max free bet £25, 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Okay, so from Newbury to Newmarket, and there's 3 races on Channel 4 there, which may not necessarily have huge relevance in the grand scheme of things for the rest of the season, but are very valid betting events. At 3 o'clock, we've got the Betfair Acker Edge Handicap, 3:35 the Betfair Cash Out King Charles II Stakes, and the 4:10 the Betfair Price Rush Sprint Trophy. Basically, G-Rod, just pick the bones out of the 3 of them.
Well, talking about wounds that are still open, Thickeryat's win first time out, that hurt a little bit because I was all over Sir Michael Stout's runners that day. He had 3 runners and I backed the 2 losers. Thickeryat was the only one that went and won, and that one without my money on.
We're focusing on the 3:35 here, aren't we?
3:35 for King Charles. He looks like he could be the big potential improver in that race. There's a bunch of more exposed types in. I expect that he might go and win that one. I think the best bet at Newmarket's in the 4:10, the Price Rush Sprint Trophy, Venturous for Charlie Appleby. I had a really good report about this before it won its maiden last year, that it was very highly regarded by the trainer. It did it very well.
Coming in from? Name your spy.
I can't remember my sources, but
a good source.
Yeah, a fairly decent source, and I was pleased with the way he won. He disappointed in his final start, but then first time up, he was he was solid enough in the market, but he just ran as though he was in need of the run. I didn't think he was given a hard time at all by the rider, despite travelling nicely into the race. Having backed him, I thought 2 furlongs out I was going to be collecting, but just didn't pick up, and the rider kept on at hands and heels, and it just stunk to me of a ride that said, well, today's not the day. He's not fully fit. We're going to look after him. There's going to be another day with him, and I'm hoping that this is going to be the one.
So around about 4:12 tomorrow, we're hoping that Graham Rodway's jumping up and down in the office and cheering on as Venturous has won that race. Kills, what's your view of these 3 Newmarket affairs?
Yeah, they're all sort of trappy, and it's hard to get away from things at too short a price. So Desert Encounter's quite impressive last time, and obviously it's probably worthy of a short price. But 13:08 is nothing to get excited about with Paddy. I'd give Wolfcatcher a chance of beating him. He was a winner in France for Andre Fabre, and then won over hurdles for John Ferguson.
Kills, Wolfcatcher and obviously one of the other horses that G-Rod talked about there, the old Godolphin Blue seems to be coming to the fore a bit lately, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. They've started the season really, really well. They haven't started the season well in the races they want to start in, but they're winning. They're winning lots of handicaps, lots of good handicaps. So, it's a good sign, but they still want to be competing at a higher table, really, don't they?
Okay, so you're going to give Wolfcatcher a chance?
I give Wolfcatcher a shot. Yeah, I think Thickeryat will win. I think everything else has got some sort of question mark over it, and I think that he's the one most likely to win that. But again, it's 6-4.
And the 4:10.
The 4:10, I found pretty hard, to be honest. But I think Nissa showed a little bit of potential last year as a 2-year-old. He was due to run at Windsor the other day when I think the meeting was abandoned. So he's back out. He's back out quickly, and I think he might go well. And 85, they were thinking of him as a Royal Ascot horse early last season. Didn't quite work out, but if he's come on, then a mark of 85 will not be beyond it.
Okay, so Kills and Graham as well. I think they're sticking towards the market leaders. Perhaps you could just give us what the market leaders are for these 3 at the 3 o'clock first of all, Brendan.
Sure, the 3 o'clock, it's Desert Encounter at 13-8. The 3:35, it's that Thickeryat at 6-4. And the 4:10, just give me 1 second. Oh, don't do that. They've moved it to tomorrow's racing on me.
No. I've got a feeling Nissa, I think Nissa is
11-4.
11-4 Nissa.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
So, no, they're no good to you, Brendan, because you don't bet under 2-1, do you? Is there any of those 3 races that attract you as betting events?
No, because no inspiration. I fancy the 2 faves. The Desert Encounters by Halling. He's only had 5 runs, and Simcock's bombing. That should win. And the Thickeryat's a very interesting horse because he obviously doesn't do a tap at home. The prices he goes off, but he looks a fair tool. So I thought they'd both win, but you're right, I can't back him.
What's the criterion you use for putting that extra "the" at the start of horses' names that don't have it? And what do you do if you have a horse like the Dickler or the Thinker? Do you call it the Dickler, or do you just?
I try
How
not
does
to.
it work?
I try not to overthink it. I'm a bit of a freestyler. I'm like Dre. It just comes to me.
Excellent, good stuff. Okay, well hopefully some winners have come to the lads because we will do the best bets of the day just now.
this will not be beaten.
Graham's rustling his paper, taking us to the nether regions of the Racing Post declarations page. For who?
Yeah, Thirsk, 325, Trinity Star for Michael Dodds. Was a huge eye catcher, finishing third first time up after 196 days off the track at Pontefract. Stayed on really strongly. Now that was on ground that would have been far too soft. It's good to firm up at Thirsk, and there's meant to be a dry forecast, so the quicker going will suit, and he's entitled to improve for the run.
Okay, Kills, who do you like best?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Imperial Aviator. I know it's a tough race, but he's got that Group 2 entry at Royal Ascot, which you like to see. Half a dozen of them have, but I think around the 10-1 mark, he's a great bet.
And Brendan?
I'm going to go for Carnarvon. I smell a result in that race.
Excellent. Okay, chaps, back in a mo with some classic action over the channel.
Here's Paddy Power's latest horse racing offer. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the SP Fav at one meeting every day this month. Paddy Power, you're welcome. Max free bet £25, 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Warm welcome back. It's Bruce Millington, Graham Rodway, Paul Keeley and Brendan Duke from Paddy Power. It's all been very genteel so far. No one's got at each other's throats, no friction whatsoever. Everyone's just saying their bit. Perhaps we'll get them revved up and get them off the bridle as we look ahead to the French Classics. The French 1,000 guineas and 2,000 guineas taking place at Deauville this year, because obviously they've knocked Longchamp down, so there's nothing happening there. So the action takes place in Normandy, and I think we'll tackle them in chronological order. No reason why not. So at 2:15, it's the old Pouliche. And Brendan Duke set the scene for us with a blast of Paddy Power betting.
Okay, so it's Alice Springs 9-4 Fav, 4-1 Kima, 9-2 Come Alive, 5-1 La Cressonnière, 8-1 Nathra, 10-1 Bashara, and 14's Bar.
Do you know, chaps, the last time a French Guineas of either gender was won by a non-French trained horse was 2007. So the Raiders have got it all to do. Graham, can a overseas entry win?
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite the same this year, is it? Usually they can, the Raiders get shafted a bit by the draw, don't they, at Longchamp? They end up drawn out wide, and then they can't.
That's a disgraceful slur. You can't say that.
Obviously, completely by chance, but this year at Deauville will be slightly different.
They're thundering down that straight course, aren't they?
I wonder if the result will be different. Alice Springs seems to be like hard as nails horse, doesn't it? They just turn it up in as many Group and Grade 1s as they can, and she runs well every time. She doesn't really win too many of them, does she? I was massively disappointed by Nathra in the 1,000 guineas. I thought she was a place certainty back to each way. She was very disappointing. I thought the booking of Soumillon for Beshara was quite interesting for William Haggis. Whether she'll stay the trip, I suppose, is the question. I'd probably take a chance on her. To be honest, I don't know a hell of a lot about the French fillies.
Don't you? Okay, well, let's learn about one of them, Quemah. I think that's right, Quemah. And earlier this week we spoke to Al Shikab racing advisor Harry Herbert, who was very positive about her chances.
She's a very, very good filly, very exciting filly, won her trial impressively, and if she happened to run a big race, then I'd say that a race like the Coronation would be very possible for her. But I think she'd go on anything. I personally wouldn't want to see it too soft. Being by Danehill Dancer, she potentially could handle soft, but she's got such a turn of foot, the filly, that you wouldn't want to see that blunted.
Where did they film that? In the aviary at London Zoo? Incredible. I love that bird song in the background. Okay, Kills, who do you like here?
Yeah, I mean, that Quemah, I don't think we've ever heard Harry Herbert be anything other than positive and confident, have we? I think he's just that type of guy, isn't he? But she did apparently look very good when she won on her return, and she was only beating a length and a half by Ballydoyle at Longchamp last year in the Marcel Boussac. So she's got some decent form and may well have improved, and it's probably the biggest danger to Alice Springs. Now, Alice Springs, she was beaten 4 lengths in the Guineas, but everyone seems to think this Minding is a superstar. I mean, we have this ludicrous thing where all bookmakers seem to be pricing up Minding for the Derby, with or without a run, and now Somi Dar, Brendan, who you've got a 5-1 with a run for the Derby.
What we've done
He's
is
got absolutely zero chance of running in the Derby. You've 10 non-runners now.
Well, well, what we've done because of the situation, it does look bad. So we've gone non-runner, no bet.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't see what's the point of cluttering up websites with betting prices for horses that have got zero chance of running.
Have they both got zero chance? Because I agree with you. There's no chance of whatsoever of Minding running in the Derby. For the very simple reason that if she beat an Aidan O'Brien colt, then all of a sudden she's denied them a Derby-winning stallion. Yeah, so that's obviously not going to happen.
Why is John Gosling going to run so many Derby when he's just unleashed a Dante winner for the Derby? It doesn't make any sense. It's just not going to happen.
No, okay, fair.
It's not going to happen.
Unless he wants to avoid Minding, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, who they're all worried about staying and is the only horse to beat in the Oaks. I mean, it's completely pointless.
The real piss take is that they've got Minding in the Triumph hurdle. I mean, that's never going to happen. Why waste their time with that?
I might back over that.
No, that really annoys me. Anyway, so who are you voting for?
Anyway, I think that form is strong. The 1,000 Guineas form is very strong, and Alice Springs is very tough.
So are you going for her?
But I think Kamau has a little bit of a turn of foot, and if it's running in a traditional French-style way, then she might have the turn of foot to win.
All right, then, Brendan, who do you think is going to win this?
I think Alice is hard to oppose.
What price is she?
She's 9 to 4.
9 to 4.
I think maybe I'm getting a bit insular. I don't know a whole lot about the French fillies, but I think the English Guineas form was very strong. She didn't have a great trip. She was stuck out wide, and I know Ballydoyle was unlucky as well, but I think you could make a case that Alice Springs could have finished a bit closer too, and I think she'd be good enough for these.
Okay, 320. It's the Poulans, which is male horsey, of course, in French. And how are you betting on that one, Paddy Power?
7 to 2 Zarak, 4 to 1 Zelzal and the Gurkha, 7 to 1 Birchwood, 9 to 1 Crazy Horse, and 12 to 1 George Patton, Dicton, and Attendu.
Let's stick with you for the winner, Brendan. Let's not.
Yeah, again, this is going to seem very insular, but the Gurkha now, you can nearly throw out all the form of the day he won in Navan. It was a ridiculous day. It was a massive pace bias, but he does seem to be very highly regarded, and they've supplemented him for the race. So in Aidan we trust. I'll go for the Gurkha.
All right, who are you going to go for, Graham?
Yeah, you just stole my point exactly. I've never seen a more ridiculous day's racing than that day when the Gurkha won. There's just everything from the front that was drawn low won, and everything that got behind didn't, and the Gurkha did. I'm sure he was massively flattered. I couldn't back him as a result. A Crazy Horse has always been an interesting horse. Again, when this horse won first time out, straight after the race, John Gosden said, we're going to put him away for next year because he's going to be a nice 3-year-old. And then he turned up pretty quickly after that, and no surprise, he won. And that suggests to me that not only was he pretty smart, but he's also going to improve significantly over the winter. And again, we're looking at Frankie and John Gosden. They can't do anything wrong. Crazy Horse is good enough for me.
That was the Horace Hill, wasn't it? Won by a nose, a head, and a length and a quarter.
It was a strange race, though, because he was sort of behind, didn't look like he was going to win, and then all of a sudden he flew and won.
Okay, Kills?
Well, yeah, I mean, let's not pretend we're doing anything other than, uneducated guessing here, because we don't know that much about most of the French horses. They haven't raced against each other. A lot of them are extremely lightly raced. The best form in the race is Richard Fahey's Birchwood and his group form last year. Whether that's going to be good enough, you'd have to doubt. Zarak, the top one's got to be very interesting. Dubarry out of Zarkava, 2 from 2, only won a neck last time, but has got the pedigree. Typically brought along slowly. That'd be my guess, but it'd be no more than that.
All right, very honest of you there. Right, what else is happening Sunday? Bondi Beach runs, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. In the
have you priced him up yet? Probably about 8's on, isn't he?
Well, he'd be very short. I'm not sure he'd be that short, but he'd be very, very short.
And also, I noticed there's a meeting at the most beautiful racecourse I've ever attended, Killarney, Brendan. Do you fancy anything down there?
I haven't looked at Killarney. Have
you been to Killarney?
Yes, I have. It's beautiful. It always gets mentioned in dispatches along with Santa Anita because it has that mountain in the background. They're similar, aren't they?
That's right. I went there with David Ashforth once, and we met the clerk of the course, and he said, "Yeah, good idea to install those mountains. Really has improved the place." So.
And life comes dripping slow around there, doesn't it? It's a very relaxing, soothing place.
Oh, it's beautiful. It really is. It's lovely. I mean, if you are one of these people who likes to tick off race courses, then I can absolutely urge you to get over to Killarney. Anything else for you, G-Rod, on the Sunday cards?
No, I must admit, I had a quick look at that Bondi Beach race. Absolutely tons in hand, should absolutely bolt up.
Righto.
Nothing else stood out.
Keels?
No, not for me.
Okie dokie. Right, who's working? Who's off at the weekend? Graham?
I think I'm working on Saturday, and then I'll be
It would
off
help
on
if
Sunday.
you knew, because we might end up with an awkward situation if no one knows.
I think I'm pretty sure that tomorrow or Saturday I'll be working.
Keels?
I'm off, and I'm going to see Spamalot tomorrow night.
What's that?
It's Monty Python and the Holy Grail at the theatre.
Oh, really?
Yeah, brilliant.
That sounds right up Kilsey Street. That does.
You going to the theatre?
Yeah, I need to see Monty Python.
I didn't know you liked Monty Python. Brendan, what about you, mate? Hard at it all weekend?
No, I'm off on Sunday. I might go to Navan if I can find someone to give me a lift.
Excellent. Oh, do you not drive, or as well as not own a necktie?
No, that's right. I'm a cyclist, Bruce.
Yeah.
I wanted to drive, but the people who are responsible for allocating licenses don't think I meet the criteria. Four times I've tried and failed to get the license. And the last one was the sickest of all, because I really put some serious yards in. I did all the pre-tests and everything. And I said to your man, "What do you think?" And no one ever gives you any guarantees, quite rightly, as it turns out. But he said, "Look, basically, if you do what you did today, you're going to pass." And I was absolutely, I owned the test. I was doing everything. And then you have to do this one thing where you have to reverse around a corner. And I was reversing around the corner, and I slightly got offline. And what happened was some wretched pedestrian came around, and you have to stop immediately when you see a pedestrian. But I didn't. I thought I could beat him around the corner by the time I did see him. And that's an automatic fail. And we're walking back in. This is my fourth and last time. And I said to your man, and he said, "Well, it's an automatic fail." And I said, "What about the rest of it?" He said, "Flawless, just salt in the wounds."
You should have persevered.
No, I'm a cyclist now. I'm a cyclist now.
Is the pedestrian walking again now, or are they still trying to get over their injuries?
Oh, no, I wasn't even close to
you
them.
missed
That's the thing. These people, they set a ridiculous standard.
Oh dear. Okay, chaps, have a great weekend. Thank you very much. And like I said, we're back on Monday to review all the action.
The Racing Postcast, in association with Paddy Power, they prize support UK and Irish racing the night before.